Welcome to The Roads Less Traveled, a video series presented by Genesis Motors Canada, in which we explore Canadian entrepreneurs and how they're forging new paths on the road to success. My name is Lance Chung. I'm the editor-in-chief of Bay Street Bull, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Richard Trevisan, brand director of Genesis Motors Canada. How are you today?
Great, Lance, and looking forward to this series. I'm excited because Genesis is very much a brand with an entrepreneurial spirit.
We have a lot to talk about today. We have a lot of exciting guests coming up, but let's start with the concept of roads less traveled. What does that mean to you, and what does that mean to Genesis as a brand?
Yeah, so we launched in 2016, so we are 4 years, I like to say, young brand. So we had to take a totally different road, starting with online sales, no physical dealer network. We added an all-inclusive pricing model, so there's full respect to the customer. It doesn't matter if he or she is in Victoria or Halifax buying a Genesis, same price, no haggling, and bringing the vehicle to you from the test drive and delivery. So that was a completely different road than the traditional industry. Hence, this roads less travel concept fits very well with the Genesis and our DNA. But speaking of roads less traveled, since you're my co-host, what about you? What about the roads less traveled that you had to experience?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. My road less traveled is really starts with how I grew up. And I grew up in a household of immigrants, of Korean immigrants. And so growing up, I was raised around values that focused a lot along the similar lines of entrepreneurial values, those ones focusing on hard work, determination, resilience. And so those are things that I carried with me and have carried with me throughout my life. I originally thought that I wanted to study science, quickly learned that that was not my destiny.
So a change of direction.
Exactly. I changed my direction. I pivoted like many entrepreneurs. I wanted to do something where I could talk to people, meet interesting people. And not that you can't do that with science, but I wanted to do something that was very actively engaging with community leaders like yourself. I eventually landed in my current position as editor at Bay Street Bull. And so here we are today talking about Genesis, about entrepreneurial spirit. And speaking of that, I wanted to talk about the owners, because that's something that Genesis is very proud of. And so can you talk about Genesis owners and what makes them unique?
So that's a very difficult question to answer, because you said it, every owner is unique. So there's no typical owner. I can find, let's say, the common element that I see looking at our owner database is all our owners are very progressive. They made a progressive choice into joining our brand by buying one of our products. And they love the way that they have full control of the purchase experience, from online to requesting a test drive to even getting the car delivered at home. So full progressive attitude from our customers. During this virtual series, we will meet more of our progressive owners, and we will be able to ask them questions and see what kind of roads less travels they have taken.
Now, obviously, you are a proud Genesis owner yourself. What has, in your experience, been your favorite feature? What's your favorite part of the drive, of the ride? What do you love most about a Genesis vehicle?
Yeah, so I'm a lucky Genesis owner because it's part of my daily work to drive our fantastic products. But to answer your questions, I think the best way is to tell you a short story. Last week I was driving around Creemore and beautiful country roads, driving a G70, and the favorite element is this characteristic that we have in the G70, which is the rear-wheel drive BIOS attitude. The car is all-wheel drive, but from the point of view of dynamics, it feels like rear-wheel drive BIOS. Hence, it's really fun and rewarding to drive.
Well, I've had a chance in the last few weeks to experience the G70 myself, and I have to say it is a beautiful drive. It is a very immersive experience. And for me personally, what defines and differentiates a great brand experience from an exceptional brand experience is attention to detail. And sometimes it's bringing to light details that you didn't even notice before until you're confronted with them. So I understand the hype. I understand why people are excited. What can you tell me about what's coming down the road? What can we all get excited about?
So the future is starting now with the two vehicles, brand new vehicles that you see in this virtual studio. GV80 is our first expression into the SUV marketplace. G80 is our athletic elegance demonstration of design features. And this is just the beginning. Next year, GV70, our second SUV, which is very much an athletic, extremely fun to drive, rewarding new SUV. An updated G70, and then every year we're going to bring new products, including a fully electric portfolio. So very, very exciting.
Very exciting. It seems like there's a lot of great things coming down the road. If we circle back a little bit, relatively speaking, Genesis is a pretty new player in the market. And you were responsible for helping to launch a new brand in a new market. So in your experience, what is your best advice for business owners, for brands, for entrepreneurs who are also looking to launch a new brand?
Yeah, I think if we look at some concrete advice, and this is something that we've been talking in this session already, and you also mentioned, attention to detail. Doesn't matter if you're launching a service or a new product, new brand, attention to detail that talks about what you're doing. It's essential for the customer to appreciate your brand, number one. Number two, customer focus, that full attention to the customer needs. And then to sum it up into let's say, the recipe that we like is this relationship-based brand where you're building a long-term relationship with your customer.
Well, those are some very valuable insights and key takeaways that we can take with us as entrepreneurs ourselves, as business owners. And so thank you so much, Richard, for this enlightening conversation. And thank you for joining us on this first episode of The Roads Less Traveled. If you're interested in learning more about the Genesis product lineup or how to reserve your own Genesis experience, head over to genesis.ca. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.